What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my ranking for all 12 movies in the Halloween franchise. Now that we've got the newest movie, Halloween Kills, I thought I'd go ahead and re-rank them. I know when I redid my Chucky reviews and my Friday 13th, I did videos with about my favorite kills and stuff like that. I'm gonna save those till next year though, when Halloween Ends gets out. After I watch that one and everything, I'll talk more about my favorite kills from each movie and rank the Michael Myers portrayals and the masks and stuff like that next year. And everything, partially because I just have so many other videos I'm trying to work on right now and everything, but I do at least want to do this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and get going on it. Coming in at number 12 is Halloween Resurrection. This movie could have been so much better than it was. It really didn't even need to exist, really, because H2O was a perfect ending to the Halloween franchise at that point and everything, but of course it had to go and undo that and everything, and Mustafa Akkad, I think is his name, he had a clause in his contract that Michael Myers can't die, and Jamie Lee Curtis wanted Michael to die and everything, so they made it where the audience thought he was dead and stuff, but it's explained in this movie that he didn't die. He just switched outfits with a paramedic and crushed his voice box and everything. It's really dumb writing, but they did what they had to do to keep Jamie Lee Curtis on board and everything, and she only agreed to do it and everything if she could be killed off within the first few minutes of this movie. And so Laurie gets a pretty crappy death in this movie, and it wasn't a very good ending to her character, but the rest of the movie just was really bad too. I like the concept of it, but the way it was just made, it just wasn't very good. It has one of the most early 2000 feels and everything, and sometimes that works in movies like Fast and the Furious, but this one it just didn't work and everything. Busta Rhymes is laughably terrible in this movie, and the way that Michael Myers is written in here, it just totally disrespects the character and everything that we've known from all these previous movies. He's nothing like what Michael Myers is supposed to be, so this is easily the low point of the franchise and easily my least favorite. So Halloween Resurrection is number 12, and number 11 is Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers. This is the 6th movie in the franchise, and this one was alright. It had some good kills and stuff. Michael is really brutal in this one. I love the portrayal of him and everything, but the story just isn't near as good. It could have been better, and to be honest, I don't remember a lot about this movie. It's just really kind of forgettable and everything. It has the Cult of Thorn storyline that I never really fully understood. I think it's kind of dumb and everything, and it's just not one of my favorite movies in the franchise. It's not really necessarily a bad movie, but it's not a real great one either. It's just kind of forgettable, kind of like with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. That movie isn't really necessarily a terrible movie, it just isn't very memorable. There's nothing about it that really is memorable, except for Danielle Harris doesn't play Jamie Lloyd because they screwed her over and everything. So and that's the biggest problem I had with this movie, is the way they did Danielle Harris and stuff. I am hoping to see the producer's cut before too long to see if that changes my mind on this movie, but as of right now, The Curse of Michael Myers is number 11, and number 10 is Halloween H2O 20 Years Later. This one is actually one I enjoy pretty much from here on up. I enjoy these movies quite a bit, and some of them I absolutely love, but this one I think is pretty good. It's not super great. You can tell that it came out like right after Scream, and it follows a lot of the Scream formula and stuff that was going on in slashers in the late 90s, but in a way it bothers me, but most it doesn't really too bad because I love Scream, so to me it's not really that big of an insult to this franchise, and it was something refreshing and kind of brought the franchise back into popularity for a little while and stuff after how bad Curse of Michael Myers did and everything. And I think it was a pretty decent movie. Could have been better, yes. I wish that they would have kept it in the same continuity with Halloween's 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. I wish they would have found a way to keep it in that continuity, but aside from that, I think it's a pretty decent movie. Just Resurrection kind of has lowered it for me. Like if Resurrection didn't exist, I might actually have this one a lot higher on here. But Resurrection just totally ruins this movie for me in a lot of ways and everything. But I do love Laurie's portrayal in this. I think that Jamie Lee Curtis gives a really great performance in this one. Maybe even my favorite performance in this one. I really debate between this one and Halloween 2018 on which performance is better out of the two, but I think she gives a really good performance in here and everything, and the supporting cast were all decent and everything, so it's an okay movie, just not one of my most favorites. So Halloween H2O was number 10, and number 9 is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. This is most notably the movie that doesn't fit into this franchise because it has nothing to do with Michael Myers, and it's not even set in the same world or anything, at least right now anyway. Who knows what Blumhouse is going to do. I know they're talking about doing a sequel to this movie eventually, and so who knows, maybe they will find a way to make it where it's set in the same world. I don't know. Well, you've seen the Silver Shamrock masks in the recent Halloween movie, so it could happen. But Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is a pretty decent movie, and for the longest time I wouldn't accept it as part of the franchise and stuff. I didn't really care for it, and I think I even had it at the bottom of my list just because I was being dumb because Michael Myers isn't in it. But I watched it for the first time outside of the franchise. I watched it like last month before I even watched all the other ones, like 2 or 3 weeks before, and it's a really good movie on its own, and it's really underrated. I didn't give it the credit it deserves and everything, so it is a good movie and everything. So it's number 9, and number 8 is Halloween 5 The Revenge of Michael Myers. This is one that I didn't like at first when I saw it for the first time. In fact, I think the first time I watched the entire franchise, I had this towards the bottom of my ranking, like probably number, like at the time it was like second or third least favorite movie, but every time I rewatch it I love it a little bit more and everything. I think part of it is watching 4 and then watching this one, I was expecting a lot more because I didn't know anything about the movies when I watched them, so I was expecting more craziness and stuff because of the way 4 ended. But this one, it just kind of retcons that ending. But I actually like what they did with it. I like that they made Jamie silent throughout most of the movie. Danielle Harris gave a really excellent performance and everything, and I think it's kind of like a fun movie. Is it quite as good as some of the other movies in this franchise? No, but I still really like it. It's really grown on me a lot. I don't have it as high as I used to because I found more enjoyment in some of the other ones that I didn't enjoy as much last time, but I do really like Halloween 5. I think it is a really good movie, and just because it's number 8 doesn't mean I don't like it. I actually think it's kind of really underrated and stuff now. I can't put it above some of these other ones because I just like them a little bit more. But Halloween 5 is a really underrated movie in the franchise. To me, it's even more underrated than Season of the Witch because at least that one has its fan base and everything. So, but yeah, Halloween 5 is number 8, and number 7 is Halloween 2 from 1981. This is a really great direct sequel to the first one. I love how it picks up right where the first one left off, and it just feels like a perfect continuation of it and everything. Dean Cundy's cinematography and stuff fits with the first one, and the directing was really great, and the kills are more brutal and stuff and more gory, but that doesn't really bother me. I love gory kills, so I'm a gore hound, so that part doesn't bother me real bad. And I think it's a really, really entertaining movie. I do kind of think it does get a little slow paced in the middle, but every time I watch this movie, I forget how much I enjoy it, because it is really fun and everything. I really debated whether to put this over 5 or not, because I like them about on the same level. I think they're both really good movies. And this one, I know it does have a big fan base, but it doesn't get the credit quite as much as some of the other sequels do. And I think it's a really entertaining movie and everything. So Halloween 2 is number 7, and number 6 is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's a really, really great story and everything. And the cast is all really good in here, especially Donald Pleasance and Danielle Harris. They're both great in this movie, and I love just it has some really great kills in here, and I love the atmosphere of this one, and it's just really entertaining movie. Yeah, it's also a good way to kick off the Thorn trilogy, which to me didn't get a lot better though as it went on, mainly because of Chris Michael Myers, but and everything. I love the ending, even though it's retconned in 5 and everything. I still think it was a really cool ending and stuff. I would have been interested to see what they would have done with the franchise if they would have kept Jamie as a killer. Would she have stayed a killer, or I think they could have done a lot better with what they did after this one, but I still enjoy both movies, and I think this is a pretty good one and everything. The ending, what being changed in the 5th movie, doesn't run it like Resurrection ruined H2O to me, so I think it's still a really pretty decent movie in the franchise and everything. I always have fun watching it. So Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers is number 6, and number 5 is Halloween 2018. This movie took a little bit of a dip on my ranking and stuff, because when I ranked it the last time, I had it a lot higher on here, but I do really love Halloween 2018. It's really entertaining, and it was a great back to basics sequel to the franchise, and I love that they took out the brother-sister aspect of it and did something different, brought Michael back to just being the embodiment of evil and everything. They doubled down on it in the next movie in the franchise, so I love that. And the cast in here are excellent. Like I said, I debate between which Laurie Strode I like better, the one from this one or the one from H2O. I think both of them are great, and if they could have put aspects of both of them into one movie, that would have been really even more awesome. But this is a really, really great movie, and every time I watch it, I like it a little bit more. I think it's one of the better sequels in the franchise for sure and everything. So Halloween 2018 is number 5, and number 4 is Halloween Kills, the newest movie in the franchise. This one probably will either go up or down depending on how much I like it on a rewatch, but from the first watch, I absolutely love this movie. I thought it was a really, really great sequel to Halloween 2018. In fact, I think it was even better than that movie, and I think that it has potential to go up and everything. Like I said, I absolutely love this movie. It was a blast from start to finish. It went by really fast and everything. I really enjoyed it, and I'm thinking about either rewatching it again on Peacock or uh, going to see it again maybe tomorrow. But I absolutely love it. Halloween Kills is a really, really great movie and everything. So it's number 4, and number 3 is Rob Zombie's Halloween. I absolutely love Rob Zombie's Halloween. I know I'm in the minority on there. I know a lot of people do love this movie because it does have a big cult following, but I didn't realize how many people actually do like it. But a lot of people also hate this movie because of the original, and I guess when you're comparing it to the original, yeah, it's not quite as good to me, but I do still love it. I love the backstory that they give him. Personally, I think the backstory they give him in this is way better than what we got in the Thorn trilogy, and the cast in here are great. A lot of really great horror legends in here. Like Rob Zombie is really good about getting iconic horror actors and stuff in his movies and everything, and you get a lot of great ones in here, and it's really, really brutal and entertaining. Tyler Mane is excellent as adult Michael, and the guy that played him, I can't ever remember how to say his name. As a kid, he's really, really great in here too, and it's a really underrated movie. So Rob Zombie's Halloween is number 3, and number 2 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I know, go ahead and sharpen your pitchforks and get your torches out. But I absolutely love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I don't know very many people that do. I think I know maybe 1 or 2 other people that like it a lot, and besides that, but I absolutely love this movie. The cast in here, to me, are excellent. And I know one of the things people complain about is none of the characters are likable. I think they are. They have their own way about them and stuff. Yeah, it has a lot of really crazy stuff going on, and there's parts of the movie where nothing's really happening, but you're just kind of following these characters and their lives and stuff. It don't really bother me, though. I like how we see how much the events of the first movie affected all these different characters and everything, and I do get the White Horse thing is kind of dumb and everything, but at the same time, it doesn't really bother me or make me like the movie any less. I know that's one of the things everyone loves to hate on. I don't really see the big deal about why it's bad and everything. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me either, but it doesn't really bother me either, like it does a lot of people. And I think it's a really underrated movie and everything. I know a lot of people were shocked when I reviewed it this time and gave it such a good review, but I think it's a really, really good take on the story and these characters and everything. It has some really great performances. Some I think were even Oscar worthy, but I love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, so it's number 2. And my number 1 favorite movie in the Halloween franchise is John Carpenter's Halloween. Most people probably wouldn't be surprised on this. I mean, most people who love this franchise have this at number 1, and a lot of people even say this is the greatest slasher movie of all time. I'm not on that level of the fandom of this movie, but I do absolutely love it, and I can understand why anybody would say it's their favorite of all time. It's such a great influential slasher movie and everything, and even though it wasn't the first slasher movie, it's the one that's credited with making the slasher genre popular, and it's really a really great entertaining movie, and every time I watch it I love it a little bit more. I love the atmosphere of the movie, and Michael is just awesome in this movie. Nick Castle does an excellent job playing him, and the characters are pretty likable and stuff. That they aren't like the best characters in the franchise, but I do find them all likable and stuff. I think that they're better written in some of the characters are better written in some of the other movies, but they get the job done for this one, and the kills are all really good, especially Bob's kill. That's one of my favorite kills in the entire franchise. And it's a classic. And when I saw it the first time, I thought it was a little overrated, but and now that I'm older and I've seen it multiple times and stuff, I've come to really appreciate it and understand why people love it as much as they do and everything. I wouldn't say it's my most favorite in the out of the big six or anything, like out of the ones that started their franchises, but it definitely is one of the best and everything, and it'd probably be my second or third favorite out of the ones that started the franchises out of the big six. But I absolutely love Halloween. I think it's a really, really great movie, and it's a classic, and it's one that every horror fan should see. Whether you're a fan of the slasher genre or not, you should at least check this one out. Yeah, so John Carpenter's Halloween is still number one. I don't see it ever changing. Halloween Ends would have to be really, really good to be able to top it, and I don't see that happening. And so I thought before I go, I'd go ahead and compare my ranking of this movie to the last time I ranked one back in, I think it was 2019, last time I watched and reviewed these movies. My ranking has changed drastically, with a few exceptions still being in their same spots and everything, so I thought I'd go ahead and compare them real quick. So the first time I did it, John Carpenter's Halloween was number one, and it still is, of course, because I just absolutely love his movie, and it's a classic and everything. There's no other Halloween movie that probably will ever be able to top John Carpenter's original, for me, anyway. Number two, back then, was Halloween 2018, and I do still really love this movie and everything. I just dropped it a little bit because of the Rob Zombie ones. I enjoy those movies a lot more on this rewatch and everything. So it's now number 5 and everything because of the Rob Zombie ones and Halloween Kills. Number 3 was Rob Zombie's Halloween. It stayed at number 3 and everything. It didn't move up or down. It just stayed where it was at. Then 4 was, back then, was Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, which I do still love. Like I said, it's still one of my favorites in the franchise. It just dropped a couple of spaces to number 6. And then number 5 was Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which raised up to number 2. Like I said, I enjoy that movie more every time I watch it and everything. It's just such a great movie in the franchise. I've always felt it was really underrated, and it gets better every time I watch it and everything. So I moved up to number 2. And then number 6 back then was Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. I dropped it a little bit just because I enjoyed a couple of the other movies a little bit more, and it's number 8 now, but I do still love Halloween 5, like I said. I still think it's really underrated and doesn't get the credit it deserves. It is a really fun movie in the franchise. It's underrated. Then number 7 is Halloween 2, and it stayed at number 7 on this list as well. It didn't really drop or anything this time. And then number 8 back then was Halloween H2O. It has dropped down to number 10 this time, but I do love H2O. I think it's a decent movie and everything. It just isn't one of the best in the franchise, mainly because of what Resurrection did with the story afterwards. But I think it's still an okay movie. Number 9 was Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, which has dropped down to number 11 on this ranking. It just, like I said, it's really a forgettable movie. It's really not necessarily even a terrible movie or a bad movie. I just find it to be forgettable and everything. It just isn't one of my favorites. So it's number 9. And number 10 back then was Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. That one's moved up a little bit to number 9. And everything, so it really didn't raise up a lot, but I still do enjoy that one quite a bit. I think it's a really good standalone movie. It just isn't one of the best in the franchise to me because of the fact that it's technically its own thing, but I do think Season of the Witch is fine. And then in last place is still Resurrection. It's moved to number 12. But it's still my least favorite in the franchise. That hasn't changed at all. And like with the first movie being number 1, I really don't see it changing ever, unless Halloween Ends turns out to be very, very bad. Then maybe. But Halloween Ends is going to have to be really bad to be worse than Resurrection, and I don't see that happening. But all in all, I love most of the movies in this franchise. I think they're all, for the most part, really entertaining. Like I said, you do have the dud in here like Resurrection, but aside from that, really all the other ones are at least fun to rewatch. I always enjoy watching them and everything. Some of them I think are really great movies. Some of them I think are just fun movies. But all in all, I think the Halloween franchise is a really great franchise and everything. So, but yeah, anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of the Halloween franchise. If you want, tell me your ranking. If you don't want to do a full ranking, tell me your favorite and least favorite. And I hope you enjoy this video, and have a good day, everybody.